Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to HSQ at Gateway. We're so glad that you're joining us here today. We really wish we could be playing in person, but hopefully soon we'll be there, playing maybe on the balcony outside that main building there. Um, it's such a joy to be able to share our music with you, nonetheless. And I wonder if there's any questions out in the audience. Please feel free to put them in the chat over to the side, and we'll get to as many as possible. And in the meantime, the things we heard today were the Barber String Quartet and um, the Josquin. Philip, is that a madrigal, or what is that piece by Josquin?
Yeah, a little motet.
Yeah, the Josquin motet, and it was a really exciting presentation because of the behind the scenes video on the barber. And so maybe Yaira, do you want to just tell us a little bit about how you came up with that idea?
Sure. The idea actually came from Andrius Zlabis, who is also um, has been playing with HSQ in the past. He's the pianist, local pianist here in New Haven. So, and he thought that it would be really good to have a peek into our rehearsal process and some things that that we talk about, which could be such a kind of nitty-gritty details. And he thought that would be very interesting for the audience to hear. And um, so then he made the visual animation. Actually, Philip, the animation was made by Olivia Labis, your cello student. So she made the animation for that, and when the line was moving forward and things like that. So credit to her on that. And we thought it would be really interesting to actually see the score of Barber and to see for the audience what we as musicians look at and the things that we are going through while we are putting this piece together.
Yeah, well, it's a really compelling presentation. I think it's really exciting, and it was also very exciting to see the three Salahuddin young women playing at the end of the concert here. And I was trying to remember how long have they been? I mean, because I remember the older two, I remember them being very young, and their older brother's lesson when I first started at Music Haven. So they've been playing for a number of years now. Do you remember how long the older two have been playing?
Yeah, so Ayana, who is the oldest one, and she was the violinist on the what's the left, right? Because I want to make sure it's the correct way for the screen. So she has been playing violin for 9 years. The sister in the middle, Adina, she has been playing violin for 8.5 years. No, sorry, excuse me, 7.5 years. And Camisa is Miss Annalisa's student. And Annalisa, would you like to share a little bit about Camisa? I loved working with her, but maybe you have more to share about her.
Yeah, she started with Ms. Yaira and would be so sad when her lesson was over that she just wanted more violin. And then I got to start working with her, and she's made amazing progress over the past few years. She makes me think about how many Olympic athletes are younger siblings because they keep up with their older siblings, and it trains their minds, and they're really ready to go at a young age. And Camisa is so ready to go, and she really loves music and loves playing.
It's so true because we only met one time when we were making that rehearsal, in person recording, and she was just like, her eyes were glued on her sisters, and she was just like catching every phrase, didn't want to miss anything. So yeah, she's
They
wonderful.
also practice martial arts together,
Yeah.
and
Oh, really?
other gymnastic things. So a family that does a lot of great activities together.
Yeah. We see you out there in the YouTube world. Thank you for joining us. And please, if you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Please put them in the chat. In the meantime, um, Philip, I know you were the one who brought that Josquin motet to the quartet. Would you be willing to say a couple words about why you find it so compelling?
I love that piece. That Josquin, it's originally set for four voices, and it's set to this really beautiful poem, really a love poem about a person longing to see their loved one, and if they don't get to see them, then they feel like they're just going to sort of wither away. And Josquin was born around 1450, to the best of our knowledge. And okay, come here. And that piece is just as heartbreakingly beautiful today as it was almost 500, 600 years ago. And so I love that. To me, it's sort of like a way to travel through time, or that that a piece that old can still have such power. And a neat little tidbit about Josquin, he was a choir boy in the Sistine Chapel when he was really young, and actually up in the choir loft, the choir boys would sort of get bored during mass, and they would carve their names and things into the pews. And so if you Google Josquin Sistine Chapel, you can see his signature that he carved into the pew in front of him at the Sistine Chapel, and it's the only known signature we have of his. So very cool.
I didn't know that last part actually, that it's the only known.
Yeah, that's all we have, because music, and it's a common problem with music from the Renaissance and era, is that, like, we don't, people weren't really attributing, or the process of copywriting and publishing your music and sort of stamping your name on it wasn't so formalized back then. So there's some questions about not just Josquin but Machaut and a lot of other sort of Renaissance composers, to, like, did they write this, or did somebody else sort of write this and stick the famous person's name on it so people would see it? But Josquin, that's the only signature we have of his.
Yeah. Well, I have a special place in my heart for ancient graffiti. There's a lot of it at Oxford, including on some giant door. There was some political movement at some point in about the 1700s where you either wrote peel or no peel. And I don't know what it was, but somebody at some point nailed a series of nails into the shape of no peel into some giant door. And so they left it. Now it's there. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope that you will come join us again in 2 weeks, same time, same place, for another virtual presentation. And we hope to see you again soon in person at Gateway. Thank you so much.